Hey, I'm Noodle Yeti, and this is the 16th part in a series I'm doing where we build a city called Westdale. This episode is going to be primarily focused on just adding things like props, details, rocks, trees, low vegetation all around the city. There are a few completed areas that will be taken care of today, and that is this cemetery park right over here. Definitely need to fix the fencing around here. Think about the roads, all the trees, things like that. Next area we're gonna have to think about is gonna be around these three neighborhoods over here. We're gonna have to think about going all the way around the outside of it, as well as between these two neighborhoods right here where I left the gap between high density and low density, just to kind of add some privacy between the two. Next, I'd like to add a little bit around this side of this commercial area known as the Grove. Next, I'd like to add some right in front of this residential area as well as right behind it, just to add a little bit more privacy and whatnot between the freeway and them, as well as in front and behind of our new IT cluster area. I think a couple good spots I should touch up on as well is going to be right over here, such as the center of this roundabout, down the side of this industry area, in front of this commercial, just in this little kind of corner here, and maybe even just surrounding this area of city services. This area is not done yet, but I feel I can go ahead and safely add trees and rocks around it. I think I'll just go ahead and start over here in this in this cemetery area. And I guess if I ever think of anything while I'm doing it, I will go ahead and go from there. got the cemetery over here completed. Put a lot of trees around the outside, a lot of the wild conifers with the general pines placed between them. I wanted to give them more of a sense of privacy from the industry area that's just on the other side. Just that way while they're here, they feel a little bit more secluded. And that's why I also added a row of general pines up at the front, but I didn't want these ones to be so secluded that people from the outside couldn't see in. I just wanted a small sense of privacy. I redid all the fencing around here to go around the edge and just to make it look a little bit prettier. I also redid this whole front area to have all these flowers, and instead of I think it was the Japanese garden or something like that, the koi ponds. I'm not sure what it was, but I got rid of it. And instead I put this statue here. Put down a bunch of the pavers that I believe came with the pedestrian DLC. And as long as I believe this is a base game statue. I decorated the whole area up with flowers and low vegetation with some high vegetation. I toyed around with the idea of placing rocks down as headstones or tombstones, but I didn't like the way it looked, so I settled for just some park benches underneath trees, just to kind of give the illusion that our citizens can come over here and sit on them in order to just reminisce about those that came before. So I kept some of the assets in here from last time, and I exchanged one of them. This regular fire hut I exchanged for a roofed one. And over here I kept the info booth. Maybe that could be like the reception area or something, where maybe there are some historical graves here, and maybe there's some people from out of town who want to come in and look at it. Maybe for like a history class or something. And over here I left the cafe and the restroom. I want these over here to kind of be like maybe the hall or something where they hold the funerals or ceremonies or something. Then I've also kept this children's playground here. Now this one, it could be kind of seen as disrespectful since it's a playground and a cemetery and, you know, kind of a little weird. But I figure if there's going to be funerals or services going on here, sometimes the parents might need to just take their kids away somewhere that's a little bit more secluded. You see it's got these fences. Just that way the kids can mess around without being rude or distracting people at the ceremony. So yeah, I really like the way this has turned out. I think it looks really good. I wish I could put things like headstones and tombstones down, although I feel like without mods that would be a real pain and chore to get it all lined up and straight. So I think with what we have, this is going to be just fine. So yeah, I think I'm going to go into the next thing, which is going to be just around this neighborhood over here. And I think I'm going to take the advice of, I believe his name was Glycin, who had commented before about wanting paths from cul-de-sacs just to give more walkability for citizens. Not a whole lot of cul-de-sacs. We have one here in the middle that's not going to be a cul-de-sac forever, but there's plenty of places where we could add pathways around this place to help people get around a lot easier. So I guess I will get into it now. got this whole neighborhood done up now, and I've added in, I think the most important thing would have to be the fencing along the outside of these neighborhoods here. I know it's not perfectly parallel with the roads, but I think it's the best I could do with my free hand. That's just to kind of give them a little bit of privacy from the main roads driving right by their homes. I added in a lot of these pathways. I upgraded this one from a bike path to a regular pedestrian path so both bikes and people can use it. Added all those paths all throughout. You can probably see a few of them here, like down on the left, down on the right, a few other places. But I've also gone down this street here, added in the fencing and the line of trees and tall grass, just in between the low density and the high density, add a little bit more of that separation between them. But yeah, this was a pretty simple, easy one to do. Not a whole lot of thought to it besides adding in a lot of things like these paths to get around, but yeah. I think now I'm going to go in over here. As you can see, I've already added the path here, but I'm going to go ahead and add in a lot of the trees. I'm going to keep this one a little bit more barren, I guess, because technically this is owned by the farmland over here. And I don't, well, not technically, but the lore behind this is that it's owned by the farmland and they kind of lease things out, lease spaces out to a lot of these businesses in here. So the area is not quite done. There's going to be some change in the future whenever I get around to it. I'm not sure when that's going to be, but for now, they're going to be adding in some fencing over here and maybe a few trees, I guess. We will see. Alright, so I decided against doing any trees and whatnot, but I would like to show off is actually, I think this is a new fence that they just introduced with the free update, I believe earlier this week. I think it looks absolutely incredible. I really like it. I think it really fixed the industrial aesthetic, industrial vibe. I mean, if you look at it, it says it's a suburban fence, but I don't really think this matches much with suburban. I don't know, at least not in the areas that I come from, or that I've lived. But yeah, I really like it, and I think I'm just going to leave it at that for now. So now we're going to go ahead and move into this high density area over here, just the front and the back. I don't want to do the side yet because we still have to make the bridge here. And I don't want to do this side yet because I feel like I'm going to fill this area in over here. So yeah, let's get to this. So I've got a lot of trees and stuff added in here. I added a couple pathways in front of each of these little neighborhoods here, just so they didn't have to walk as far to get across this main road here. Along the backside, I decided to turn this first one closest to them to be a highway with sound barriers up until this point, because this rock formation here is too close for me to upgrade and it will demolish that, which is very unfortunate, but it is what it is. Now, of course, they don't have any off-ramps or on-ramps that have sound barriers, so I had to kind of do a makeshift one. And the fence that, to me, looked the most like the sound barriers was actually the newest residential one, so I got to use that again. I brought it all the way along as best I could, just to kind of make it look like it has a sound barrier. And not only for the sound barrier part, but also the kind of privacy thing a little bit. Make the people in these homes at least feel like people can't just look in at them as they're driving by. So yeah, that's this residential area. I think now we can move over to our IT cluster. I think I already mentioned that I wasn't going to do anything in this area here because I feel like I could fill this in with something more. Maybe some more housing, or in the future, if we need more commercial, maybe some more IT cluster. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and get into this one. Alright, so I've got around the IT cluster all done up with trees and rocks and whatnot. Same thing as over in the residential, I turned a lot of this highway into one with sound barriers, yet again, just to maybe add some illusion of privacy and maybe a feeling of security, because I feel like if you're driving down this road over here, you might be a little bit fearful that somebody from the highway might eventually drive off of it due to being tired or something. And so I've added that row of trees and these sound barriers just to make people feel safe over here. Same thing, off-ramps and on-ramps don't have their own sound barriers, so I added a makeshift one with this suburban fencing. I like it. I think it looks good. Got a lot of trees back here as well, so I think I'm going to focus on this roundabout next. I think this will be a good place to focus, maybe decorate in the center. Go down this industrial area over here. Maybe just add a little bit of fencing over here around this city services area. And then decorate over here. I think that'll be it. So yeah, I will... Oh, what's going on here? Did something happen? Is that a hearse? Okay, that's a hearse going there. That's good. Let's see if it continues. What is going on here? It looks like something in the game is broken. I think maybe I'm going to have to save the game and be right back. See if unloading all the mods will fix this. Alright, so here we are, completely mod-free now. This is it. Absolutely none whatsoever. So let's see if these places are able to get their needs met. Okay, so sometimes one of the vehicles gets through. This is very curious as to what's going on and what's causing this. Nothing I can do about it, but hopefully they patch the game and fix this. So I think for now, I'm just going to go ahead and get back into detailing this area over here. So I will be right back. So, got this little area here. A little bit more trees and stuff. I didn't want to go too hard over here because I thought, well, maybe in the future I might want to add more commercial over here. So I left that alone. But I've added in this stuff right here in the center of the roundabout. I think it looks really good. I like it a lot. Gone down by the industry over here. Added this fence over here. So there, I don't know if I talked about it already, but there's an issue here where if we get out of this, you'll see there's all these dead and police stuff that can't be picked up, and it's really concerning. I have no idea what's going on or why. And you kind of watch them and you look at this and all of its routes will just disappear. Like there's no routes going on whatsoever, none from hearses, none from trucks. You'll see this one, it'll have I think pedestrians are the only ones that can get to this building from what I was watching, but this truck one will eventually just poof, like the truck will just have to decide to go somewhere else, and I don't know what's going on with that. Let's see how close it gets before it... Oh, there it goes. Alright. And it just completely decided to go somewhere else. So I have no idea. This new update broke the game. I have no mods whatsoever right now. Completely 100% vanilla. No idea what's going on. But yeah. So I think that's about it for this time. I don't think I'm done with the warehousing area to go through there and add even more trees and rocks and places for the people that work there to go to lunch or something. But I got the main focus, which was going to be this memorial / cemetery park around the 3 neighborhoods in the middle. The one new high density neighborhood, the IT cluster. Well, I think you get it. So I think that's about it for this episode. I got a lot done. And yeah, I really like the way it's looking. I think it's looking a lot better now that there's more trees and props all over the place, fences and the like. So yeah, thank you for watching. I appreciate your viewership, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye bye.